Are you trying to make me look stupid in front of the other guests?
Don't need any help from me, sir.
That's right.
I'm Colonel Mustard, and,
He's kind of an old fuddy-duddy.
definitely not a full deck.
I would have nothing in common with a man like that, but,
He's a fool.
But I certainly admire him.
Oh, how disgusting.
yes, yes.
That's Colonel Mustard.
You know what doctors aren't allowed to do with their lady patients?
Yeah?
Well, he did.
I'm a professor.
A little absent-minded.
I like him.
Professor Plum is
The type of academic who gave the universities of this country a bad name.
Very interesting.
lustful.
Oh, how disgusting.
I don't know anything about that. Professor Plum is...
Pathetic.
It's you and me, honey bunch. Now, how many husbands have you had?
Mine or other women?
Yours.
5.
She frightens me.
5.
Yes, just the 5.
definitely psychopathic, but chic.
Yes, thank you.
She's very mysterious.
Mrs. White is a little too dark to fathom.
She's quite sick.
I hated her so much. It flames.
Completely out of control.
Please!
I run a specialized hotel and a telephone service which provide gentlemen with the company of a young lady for a short while.
I think you can make money.
What's the phone number?
Miss Scarlet, the word tart. Yes, delicious.
Do you like Kipling, Miss Scarlet?
Sure, I'll eat anything.
Oh, how disgusting.
Miss Scarlet is an enigma.
She's a very beautiful woman, isn't she?
Trash.
Very, very clever.
Bright, cunning.
Cheap and tawdry.
A candlestick. What's this for?
I'm not going to wait for Wadsworth here to unmask me.
Mr. Green is sweet.
He seems very sweet, doesn't he?
A little too light in the capezios. Should pull himself a bit together.
Sorry. I'm a little accident prone.
Some men are like that.
Tremendously naive.
I'm a Harvard man myself, as you can see.
I'm doing it! Will you stop that? Now!
I can say no more.
Good evening. I don't know if...
Yes, indeed, sir. You are expected, Colonel.
Wadsworth is Mr. Efficiency.
He does his job very, very well.
My ambition is to be the very best.
His subservience never quits.
The perfect butler.
Well, he's very bright.
I don't think he's too tightly wrapped.
Now.
He seems to know everything.
And he's got secrets.
What do you mean? Murder.
I have absolutely no idea what we're doing here.
She drives me crazy.
But I am determined to enjoy myself.
Mrs. Peacock is pretty hard to pin down. Just a hint of snobbery, perhaps?
What?
She's quite forward.
I'm a politician's wife.
She's an old biddy.
It's a vicious lie.
I see something within her that I'd rather just leave alone.
Go away!
A dark, stormy night, a huge Gothic mansion on a deserted road. It is the perfect place for a murder.
I'm a little nervous. I'm in this big house, and I've been locked into the lounge. The funny thing is, there's a whole group of people here having some sort of party.
Who is the killer? That is the mystery. Is it Michael McKean as Mr. Green, Lesley Ann Warren as Ms. Scarlet, Martin Mull as Colonel Mustard, or is it Madeline Kahn as Mrs. White, Christopher Lloyd as Professor Plum, Eileen Brennan as Mrs. Peacock, or Tim Curry as Wadsworth the butler? This is the setting for the new mystery comedy motion picture, Clue, based on the popular board game.
It's about very disparate characters who are invited to this mansion under very mysterious guise. And are brought together in a series of events that are catastrophic.
They discover in due time what they have in common. And before they can figure out what to do about that, they have another greater problem, and that problem is murder.
I am your singing telegram.
This picture, to me, is very much about people having a wonderful facade and then gradually losing it.
You've got blood on your hands.
I didn't do it!
In the tradition of all great mysteries, Clue is a whodunit with endless permutations.
Stand back! Come here!
There are a few big, whopping clues laid right before your eyes. But you have to be quick to get them. You have to be sharp to get them.
Beyond the murder and the mystery of Clue, there are a group of characters that make for comic results.
It's what happens to 6 people on the absolutely worst day of their lives.
Armageddon is almost upon us. I got news for you. It's already here.
Go away!
The film seems to me sort of like, what if the Marx Brothers did an Agatha Christie movie?
Ow! Will you shut up?
Da-da-da-da-da. I am your singing telegram.
They are the most unlikely group of dinner guests you could imagine. They are the characters in the new motion picture Clue. Taken from the Parker Brothers board game, Clue stars 7 of the screen's best-known comedic performers in an ensemble cast. The characters in this mystery comedy include comedian Martin Mull as Colonel Mustard.
Colonel Mustard strikes me as a very commanding presence.
He's kind of an old fuddy-duddy.
Well, Colonel Mustard is probably not the quickest on the mental trigger.
Eileen Brennan from Private Benjamin is Mrs. Peacock.
Mrs. Peacock, I should say very powerful. Just a hint of snobbery, perhaps? Let's put it this way. I think her hat gives it away. I think the only reason her head is in one place is that the termites are holding hands.
I'm a senator's wife, politician's wife. I'm a socialite.
Christopher Lloyd from Back to the Future is Professor Plum.
Professor Plum is the type of academic who gave the universities of this country a bad name.
I find myself asking professor of what?
He's a psychiatrist, specializing in libidinal phenomenon.
Very bright, a little absent-minded.
I don't know anything about that.
Lesley Ann Warren from Victor Victoria is Miss Scarlet.
Miss Scarlet, the word tart is used so often, and quite often erroneously. I would say in her case, the word tart is right on the money.
When I first met her, I must admit the words cheap and tawdry sprang to my lips.
She thinks she knows it all.
Michael McKean from Laverne and Shirley and the cult classic Spinal Tap is Mr. Green.
Mr. Green is sweet. He's very sweet.
Mr. Green is a little too light in the Capezios, as far as I'm concerned.
Mr. Green is not tough. No.
I'm, I guess what you'd call a bureaucrat.
Madeline Kahn from Young Frankenstein is Mrs. White.
Mrs. White is a little too dark to fathom. She's like a bottomless well.
Definitely psychopathic, I would say. But chic.
She seems dangerous.
That's really all I have to say about myself.
And from the Rocky Horror Picture Show, Tim Curry is Wadsworth the butler.
Extremely efficient. Wadsworth is Mr. Efficiency.
I'm sure he does his job very well.
He's the most interesting. Very charismatic. And he's got secrets.
My ambition is to be the very best butler, the perfect butler.
What exactly do you do? I buttle, sir.
When the combination of these comedic talents come together in this murder mystery, it creates a unique chemistry on the screen.
These people are some of the most serious screwballs I've ever worked with in Hollywood. And the nice thing is I think an awful lot of that is on film.
Mr. Green! I had to stop her screaming.
The filming of Clue required that the complete cast be together for the entire 2 months of shooting. This day-to-day interaction created a special bond between the performers.
We are almost all the time, or a large percentage of the time, we're all there in a scene, all of us. It's like a grown-up breakfast club.
It was a very supportive group of people, and we all found each other's humor wonderful.
Working with this cast has been one of the greatest experiences of my life. And there's not one of them, not a one, right down to the cook, that I wouldn't tomorrow morning, if asked, first thing, take pen in hand and sign the papers that have them committed.